see, I've got the wheels back on and I've built it up as best I could. I was missing those spaces to go in between the wheel bearing and the drive nut, the lock nut. I couldn't find any, so I've just put it up together just to get it rolling, simply because this is going to the sandblasters tonight. And the reason for that is I wanted to cut the frame and extend it. However, the guy in the workshop who bends the metal came up with all excuses, said he couldn't do it. Well, he did. This was another guy, one of the workers, and said he couldn't do it. Well, I said, your boss did it last year, so I can't see a reason why it can't be done. So I left it with him. I don't expect that'll be done this week, so I've got to make the most of this nice weather. So I've unplugged the brake lines, put some little stoppers in. I'm not going to use these I'm going to use these lines, but when it goes to sandblaster I'll just wash them through. I have put a plug on this back one here, I don't know if you can see, but for the rest of it she's just about ready to go, so we'll get it blasted and painted and see what it looks like. You're probably wondering, this hasn't moved, I haven't done anything to it. And the simple reason is that the customer informed me that he wants a 2-inch lift and he wants some other jobs doing to it. Improved radius arms. It's very heavy at the front, it's got a very heavy winch. I don't particularly like all this setup, but there you go. But what he noticed was, and I'm going to stand back, it's got a bit of a list to one side, and he's told me this has got terra firma springs on. 2-inch lift. Doesn't look like it. And he had it parked on an angle a little bit. And so what happened was, this for a little bit, about 2-3 years, and the springs have just settled to one side. So I've got to them to do. So I was going to order a brand new drive shaft because the other one wasn't salvageable. I could send it to my prop shaft guy, who was very, very good, and cut the tube, put new yokes on, etc, etc, but it's not cost effective. So what he's going to get is one of those double cardan joints, like off the Disco 2, to compensate for the height. So that's changed. So that's why sometimes I just hang fire and don't do jobs straight away, because sometimes customers change the plans just ever so slightly, and there's no point taking things apart just to put them back together again and then take them apart again. But one thing he did tell me was, when we built this truck, we didn't know this, we had no idea, that the fuel tank leaked only when you filled it up. Now this has got a TD5 tank in, but it had at the time a 300 TDI engine. It's now got a HS 2.8. I followed some information off internet as how to put a sender into a TD5 tank. Well, it worked, yeah, there was no problem at all. Banged it all back together and hey presto. But I never actually brim filled it up. And what happens is, when you fill it up, fuel was leaking out the top. Anyway, since then I found out what was wrong. There's a white plastic ring on the top of the tank, and when you tighten down the locking ring, it won't allow it to seal. So I've got to take the tank out, unfortunately. It means pulling all that damn towing bracket off. Yeah, not looking forward to that, but it's a sunny day. I might as well do it outside, and because if I spill diesel all over the place, well, it's on the floor but not in the shop. I suppose that's a good thing, I don't know. Well, maybe not for environmental things. But anyway, what I'm going to show you is, later on, once I get into this, is when the tank's off, I'm going to show you how we test tanks for leaking before we fit them on, or for any other little problems, because it's really interesting. We use smoke to test the tanks, and then if we find any leaks, we can actually pinpoint with accuracy where the leak is. I'll inform you more of that later, but first of all, got to drop this tank. Not looking forward to that, but a day in the life.